Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for helping on. It's another session for y'all. And today, my name. Okay, before I move further, my name is Ryan Smanyema. If you're a new, watcher out there, my name is Ryan Smanyema. I'm a fourth year radiography student based in Nigeria. I'm also a proficient medical writer. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to watch my video as well. So today I have an amazing guest speaker. I won't be the person to introduce her. She's an amazing personality, all the way from the UK. Miss Tolu, could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi everyone. My name is Toluwale Fashano. I am a registered nurse. I'm a Nigerian. Yeah, and I'm a registered nurse. Licensed to practice in 5 countries, and I'm currently working in the emergency department in and one of the NHS hospitals in Wolverhampton. And I don't know what else you want me to say, but I think that's just a summary of who I am. Yeah, just keep it simple.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. Really amazing. So we have a couple of questions for you to answer. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You made mention about being a registered nurse in 5 countries. This is amazing. So that draws me back to the first question for you. Can you share your journey and experience as a nurse in 5 different countries?
Okay. It's been an amazing journey. I think I've been a nurse altogether for like 8 years, if not more. I attended University of Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria, and I finished my BNSC program, yeah, in Unilorin, and I graduated with my RN certificate. I'm also a midwife and public health registered licensed nurse. And after I finished, I obviously went for my NYSC program in Ondo State. I served in FMC Hawa, and then that was when my journey began. I moved to the UK as a adult registered nurse, and I've been practicing here for the past 4 years, and it's been an amazing journey. I started um, as a renal nurse, and then I was more interested in emergency nursing, so I moved to the emergency department. And currently, I'm a band 6 nurse in the emergency department. Just recently got promoted actually, and I think 2022 I wrote my NCLEX exam and I got licensed to practice in the United States of America. And I'm still just trying to take my time. I've not moved there to start practicing, but I have a job there waiting for me. And then over time, I just like wanted to explore more countries personally because I'm also a nursing coach and mentor. So I always like to like have a first-hand experience of what I'm telling my clients or nurses I'm guiding, and that's made me to explore what he or like what it made me explore other countries and how easy it is for nurses to get into these countries. So I tried getting licensure in New Zealand and Australia. And I think a few months ago, I was licensed to practice in those countries too. And I don't know how many countries I'm going to get licensed in, but it just like gives me that assurance that there are a lot of opportunities out there for nurses to explore. And it's just getting access to the right information, basically. Yeah, that's the summary. I'm also a professional nurse advocate and a cultural ambassador. Okay, I think I missed that out. And to be fair, I've been working in my trust, we call it trust, my hospital, as a cultural ambassador and a professional advocate for the past 3 years. And it's been an amazing journey and it's a kind of new exposure, especially for those that are not really um enlightened in that area, and it's been a very good leadership position to explore basically. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing nurse Tolu. You
Uh-huh.
know, this is amazing thing to share, and I believe that the nurses out there that are gonna watch this video will be very motivated to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Like you said, um, there are a lot of opportunities for nurses out there. A lot of opportunities. You just have to have the right information. So if you're a nurse out there, you're looking for a nurse mentor. A person that has more experience, that have passed through your phase you're in right now. I think Nurse Tolo is preferred for you. So if you're wanting
Mm.
to reach out to her, her details will be on the YouTube description below as well. So thank you so much for sharing your journey,
Yeah.
thus far, as a nurse in amazing five different countries out there. So that
Okay.
draws me to the next question for you. So before we move to the second question, in a nutshell, how did you prepare? Because I've had a lot of guest speakers, and they talk about the exams. The exams you've wrote to get license in the U.S. They really find it difficult in terms of their preparation for the exams. So could you talk us through on how you prepared for the exam and scaled through for other nurses out there that are preparing for to write the same exam as well?
I think everything has to do with your mindset and what you actually really want. There's no Most of the countries you would probably want to explore will have one exams that for you to write. Like if you want to get registered in United Kingdom, you have to write your CBT, you have to do an OSCE exams. Most of the time the OSCE exams is usually prepared, like your hospital or your employer is going to like get you prepared for the exam. um it's it's always not easy to obviously prepare for exams, but you just have to have the right mindset. And if people are passing the exam, you should have that mindset that you also pass. And I think it's just having access to the right materials, basically. Get And it's now easier because most of these exams for US, for people that want to explore Canada, Australia, and the likes, there's always support groups on LinkedIn, on Telegram, on WhatsApp that people join just to like get access to materials and group discussions and stuff like that. Although I didn't use most of those, that I'm someone that I prefer like doing my personal study. I have like people I like read with and discuss with, but I'm not used to all those group things. But I know they exist and they work for certain people. So it's just basically looking for what works for you and sticking to it. And you need to give yourself time. When I was preparing for my NCLEX exam, it was very hard because I was also working full time, basically, and I was also doing my master's program. So I was combining like three things together, but I just had to like plan my schedules based on that. So anything is possible. Currently, I'm doing another master's program, and I have like a lot of things I'm doing at the same time. But it's all about planning and actually setting a goal for yourself and what you want. If people pass the exam on one sitting, you can pass it. It's just giving yourself. I always tell people not to rush to do those exams. Just self-pace yourself. Look at what works for you. If you're working full time and it's hard combining reading with preparing for exam, instead of rushing to do the exam in 2 months and then you fail the exam, why not just give yourself like 5 months? Give yourself adequate time to prepare for the exams and then go write it when you feel like you're ready. So I think that's it basically. For US, for UK, you definitely write exams, and it's just about like getting support groups and getting
Yeah,
access to the right materials to read for the exam, because most times people just gather a lot of materials that are not relevant to the exams and read what is not relevant to the exams. But when you have access to the right materials, you're definitely going to pull through. Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you so much for talking us through. And I believe that all the nurses out there are gonna watch this video as learn one or two things from you. So the next question for you is, What challenges and rewards have you encountered as a nurse in various healthcare settings? Talk us there.
Okay. Um, Obviously, there's no job that doesn't have its own challenges, and there's no job that doesn't have its own reward. And I think one of the rewards of being a nurse for me is the fulfillment that comes with it. And I think, like I said before I started, it's all about the mindset and what you actually really, really want. For me, being a nurse is not just beyond, is beyond the opportunities and the money. A lot of people now are doing nursing because of the opportunities and the money, which is their drive. But there are sometimes that those things might not really help you, especially when you are facing challenges. Obviously, I was very passionate about being a nurse, and that was what made me like get into the profession in the first place. And sometimes the passion is not enough for me on some days. So definitely there are some highs, there are some lows of being a nurse for me. And I think um I'm just fulfilled that I'm one, beyond being a nurse, I'm making impacts in my profession, and that is enough reward for me. And obviously, the fact that you're putting a smile on other people's face or preferring solution, just even beyond just delivering healthcare services to people, like preferring solutions to people at work, rubbing minds, and people see you as somebody that they can come to and ask like intelligent questions for you to like provide solution. It's enough reward for me as a nurse. And one of the rewards is also the opportunities that are available. I feel like at this point in my profession, I have a lot of opportunities that are available. If I say I want to live where I am now and explore other options, I feel like I've created that enough space for myself to do that, which is actually one of the rewards of being a nurse. Then the challenges, obviously, I have worked in different settings, acute settings, right from being a graduate nurse. I've worked in a private hospital. I've worked in a community hospital as an NYSC copper back back at home. And I can tell you that the challenges are different. Like the challenges are different. The challenges I faced as a graduate nurse was different from the challenges I faced as a copper nurse. And it's definitely different from the challenges I faced when I moved here into a country that has a different setting entirely. But I think one of the things that I've learned over time is that change is always constant. Change is always constant, and you just have to like learn through it. When I moved in here, I had a little bit of culture shock. Um, Care shock, like the way we do things are quite different from the way they do things. And sometimes the way you even the cultural differences in how you relate with your patients is quite different. Some things, like I was used to saying sorry, sorry, like normally in Nigeria, if you sneeze, you say sorry. But if you tell someone sorry at work, they look at you in a very they look at you somehow like, why are you saying sorry? It's not your fault. And I just had to learn a lot. It was like a lot of learning and unlearning for me. And it's been a good experience. And of course, the differences in the fact that it's not your country, it's not your home. You feel those energy sometimes, and sometimes it can be very overwhelming. But I think one of the ways that I've learned to deal with all those stress and challenges is sometimes taking some time off work to just provide self-care for myself. And definitely it has always been working. So yeah, that's it basically.
Amazing, amazing. It's amazing to hear from you that you adjusted to some cultural shock you had or you even
Mhm.
haven't currently. It's amazing that you've shared the challenges and the rewards you've encountered as a nurse, working in various healthcare settings in acute department, emergency department. Emergency department is a department that you don't joke about. We can see a lot of different kinds of cases unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've faced a lot of challenges and you've conquered, and that's like you're an inspiration to other nurses coming along and gonna watch this video. You know, any challenges you're facing right now is minimal to what you're gonna face in the future. So
Yeah.
just keep going, keep grinding in everything you're doing. Even other medical students are gonna watch this video in different specialty. It could be radiography, my course. It could be medicine, gynecology, specialization with gynecology and ophthalmology or obstetrics, whatever. You just have to know that you're going to face a lot of challenges and you have to prepare yourself. That's the reason why you're in school. School is not basically just to study, make friends and stuff and that.
Mhm.
It's part of it, but it's like a stepping stone to your goals. If you have a goal to being a medical doctor, you have to pass through school. You can't just leave school and just say I'm a medical doctor. So it's just like a propellant, to a higher attainment. So, Nurse Tolu, thank you so much for talking us through about those challenges you faced and the rewards as well you faced working in various healthcare settings. So the next question for you is, as a satisfied um, PNA and cultural ambassador, how do you incorporate cultural awareness in your leadership? Talk us through.
Yeah. So being a cultural ambassador, I don't really think most people know what cultural ambassador is all about. So it's just being representing people of the BEAM community, the blacks, Asians, and the minority ethnic groups, basically. And I think one of the reasons why this was incorporated in most organizations is to ensure that there is no bias when it comes to decision making, recruitment, and things that has to do with the minority ethnic groups. And it's an interesting one, to be fair, because it's easy to always feel not included, especially when you're coming to a country that is not yours. And being a cultural ambassador for me has been a learning curve, and it's been an amazing one to see that decisions that are made regarding people of minority ethnic groups are being fair, because most of the times when it comes to recruitment process, when it comes to disciplinary measures, there's always a cultural ambassador that is there to listen and to make sure that every decision that is made at that point is fair, irrespective of the culture, irrespective of the background the person is coming from. And being a professional nurse advocate for me too has been an amazing one, because basically being a professional nurse advocate is just beyond advocacy. It's making sure that you are empowering your other colleagues, empowering them to make the right decisions, empowering them to speak up for themselves, because it's always easier for people to unpack their burdens on you. And when I started the job fully, a lot of my colleagues will come and, oh, I'm being bullied by this person, and expect you to act on their behalf, but it's not pouring your burden on me. It's expressing how you feel about something, and me empowering you to actually take an action for yourself. So being a professional nurse advocate is empowering other people to take actions. So when you have cases of bullying at work or stress at work, you are guiding them, you are giving them the wide range of options that are available. You are referring them to the trust policies, and you are empowering them to actually speak up for themselves or take actions. Obviously, you also still advocate in cases where there are situations beyond control, and then that needs to be addressed or escalated to the higher authorities. You do that, especially or if it's a case where it's threatening the safety of other members of staff or the patient's safety, it has to be escalated. But so being a cultural ambassador and being a professional nurse advocate basically as a leader is encompassing its communication, its cultural, like inclusion of cultural diversity, learning about other people's culture and how you can work with it together with them at work. And it also involves learning and unlearning. And most organizations now have like trainings available that revolves around cultural diversity, inclusion and exclusion and stuffs like that, to make sure that people work together and people feel included at work. So basically that's what it's all about.
Wow.
Mhm.
This is my first time of hearing such amazing role of being a cultural ambassador. Does it mean that it's your that you do like you're a counselor as well? Does it mean being like a counselor?
No, it's not being a counselor. It's a role. So most of the time in my hospital, we have cultural ambassadors. So when we have recruitment, maybe there's an interview available, they will always request the cultural ambassador that is available to sit in the meeting. If there are disciplinary like hearing or cases that have happened that needs maybe to be forwarded to the higher authorities, there are some people of higher authorities that will first sit on the matter and talk about it, do their investigations. And while doing the investigations, a cultural ambassador has to be there to also listen and also tell them. So, if, for example, the person is a minority ethnic group and the people that are like that are doing the investigations are not minority ethnic groups, there can be tendency of wanting to be biased and stuffs like that. So the essence of a cultural ambassador being there is to sit, watch, and also, so sometimes it's still they will still pass the whatever they think, the judgment or something. But a cultural ambassador being there will caution and also let them know, oh, I think you guys are in the right direction. I think this person actually did the wrong thing and should be addressed, or this person actually didn't do the wrong thing and should be addressed. So it's just making sure that people are being treated fairly and equally, irrespective of their background, basically. That's what it is all about.
Amazing. Before I move further, is that kind of role available in Nigeria? Is
Mm-mm.
it available?
No, it's not. I've never heard of it. It was when I got here I got to know about the role. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's why
think it's.
I was really short about it. But anyways, thank you so much for talking us through about how you incorporate cultural awareness in your own leadership and at a place where you work as an amazing nurse in the UK. So the next question for you, Nurse Tolu, is hmm, hmm, hmm. How do you balance your roles and responsibilities as a nurse, a researcher, and a cultural representative? Talk us through.
I didn't get the question.
How do you balance your roles, like your roles and responsibilities as a nurse, a researcher, and a cultural representative?
Okay. So I think I'm working basically. I'm a clinical. I work basically more in the clinicals. I I'm currently working in the emergency department, and I'm also a cultural ambassador. I'm also a professional nurse advocate. So most of the time, I have like days in the month I work as a professional nurse advocate at work, and days I'm available to maybe sit for a sitting or an interview as a cultural ambassador. I pick it up. Like we always like have get mails of, are you available to sit in this meeting, or there's a case that is urgent, so will you be available to sit? If I'm available, I'll pick it up. If I'm not available, I'll leave it. um so being a nurse researcher, basically I'm not a full-time nurse researcher. Research is just something I have a lot of interest in, even as a before I became a graduate nurse. and I've helped my lecturers in their research papers or work. And it's something that I actually picked a lot of interest in. When I got to UK and I was enrolled in my postgraduate studies, I it was quite different from the kind of research I was used to. There was a little bit of difference in postgraduate studies here and back at home. The way we write our research, and it was a lot of learning and unlearning for me. And I think I've also been involved in quite a number of service improvement projects, which basically is identifying a gap maybe in a service delivery, and involved in some audits and trying to provide solutions in bridging those gaps. So I would not say that I'm into full-time research, but research is definitely something by the side I do if I have the time. And because I'm also like doing my master's program, I'm always writing, definitely. I'm always writing a research work or doing a research work. So it's still something I'm doing by the side, but not full time, because I have my clinicals, I have my coaching platform, I have like other things I'm involved in that is taking a little bit of my time. So but I definitely have an interest in writing. I've written two books. I wrote one book last year, and I think I wrote one book when during my NYC program. So writing is something that actually has been coming easy for me. So yeah, maybe maybe in the future I might go fully into research, but I'm not sure yet.
That would be great. Really amazing. Wishing you all the best, in all your endeavors, because you're really,
Yeah.
really doing amazing well. And there are more for you in the future as well.
Yeah.
So, the next question for you, Nurse Tolu, is okay, what advice would you give to nurses who wants to or who want to, develop their careers internationally? What advice do you have for them?
Okay. The advice is just know what you want and go for it. And basically, I think I've seen a lot of nurses just doing things because everybody's doing it these days. And nursing now is like one of the hot cake jobs in town. And if you're not careful, you will just do things to please people. I've seen nurses that are trying to like explore international options, not because it's basically what they want, but because that is what the society now expects from them. If you're a nurse, automatically you should travel out of the country. It's not always like that. Yeah, there are opportunities obviously to explore, and there are like better opportunities to explore internationally as a nurse, but you must know what you want, so that you will not just be, oh, everybody's writing UK exams, you're writing, everybody's writing US exam. Sometimes when people ask me, oh, why are you licensed in 5 countries, I tell them because want to explore and see the possibilities, so that when I'm guiding people, I know what it's involved in terms of the cost, in terms of exams, in terms of that. That is my own passion. It does not mean that everybody has to have 5 or 6 licenses. It does not mean that everybody has to like go to 5 countries to be licensed. So basically, there are a lot of opportunities for nurses. Obviously, there's a lot unlimited opportunities. There are even sometimes that a lot of nurses are stuck in the clinical settings, and I'm like, there are a lot of opportunities. If you want something flexible, if you want a soft life job as a nurse, there's a lot of opportunities that you can explore. It's just getting access to the right information, knowing what you want personally, and also looking at your a job that will give you a work life balance, because a lot of nurses are working, they are working hard, but there's nothing to show for it because they are stressed. A lot of nurses have entered into depression because they are overly stressed. There's no work life balance. So if you're at a job and you are really struggling, you can explore other options. It's not everybody that is wired to be a clinical nurse. There are a lot of options that you can explore as a nurse outside the clinic. Has you can There are jobs where you can work from home as a nurse. So it's just having access to the right information, um going for, like, if you know that, oh, you want to go into academics, you might want to start doing something in line of academics, maybe do a master's course, a master's program, some certification courses that will align you to that particular area. So get the right information, know what you need to do, and develop yourself in that area such that when you have opportunities that pop up in that field, you are prepared and you are qualified to fit into that role. So that's what I'm going to say.
Wow, I don't further because these are amazing nuggets for not only nurses out there, other medical students in different medical specialties. Thank you so much for sharing us that amazing advices for upcoming nurses and wanting to develop their careers internationally. So the last question for you, Nurse Tolu, is what do you see as the biggest future shifts in nursing and healthcare, especially from a global perspective? What do you think?
Yeah, so the world is changing generally, and um what I see is nothing is not where it used to be, and it's actually very interesting and amazing to know that nurses are thinking differently. It's different from when we started um our nursing journey and people's perspective about nursing. Now, nursing is something that everybody wants their child or their daughter or their son to do. And in global perspective, I'm actually seeing a big shift. A lot of nurses will probably not be doing clinicals. I don't know who is going to take over, because there are actually a lot of opportunities now that is available for nurses outside clinicals, and you're already seeing nurses in tech space, seeing nurses going more into research, seeing nurses doing more of the community job and everything. So I think a lot of nurses are now becoming self-aware of the things they can do outside of the hospital walls, and it's just getting more knowledge, getting more access to information. And in 5, 10, 15 years time, you'll be seeing a lot of nurses doing amazing things in the financial space, in the tech space, and in any space that you can think of, basically. Yeah.
Amazing, Nurse Tolu, and to hear that you shared some few things about your own perspective about where exactly nursing career is heading to in your own global perspective. So we've come to the end of the session, Nurse Tolu, and you've been an amazing guest speaker thus far. And I believe that the audience have learned one or two things from you. So before we
Yeah,
wrap up
thank
this
you.
session, what are your last words for the audience?
All right. I don't know what to say. But thank you for having me, and I think it's been a worthwhile time. And I'll just say that just be yourself. So every nurse is listening to me, just be yourself, and it will blow your mind that you can do more than you think you are. When I started as being a nurse, I had things written down that I wanted to do, but the big picture was a little bit scary for me, and I was not seeing them happening until now. 4 years later, I'm doing all the things that I've written down in my journal 5, 6 years ago, and I'm like, oh. So you just need to believe in yourself, push yourself, think differently. Now everybody's doing the job you're doing. You have to start thinking of what you can do differently, what makes you different, what will make people choose you out of the 100 people that will be applying for that same job. And I think it starts with your mindset. You have to start thinking of what can you do differently as a nurse. Everybody's doing nursing now, so what do you bring to the table that will make every employer want you, that will make other people feel like you are the best man for the job? So I think that is the mindset that every nurse should have out there, because in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time, everybody is going to be a nurse, and that big job that you are dreaming of will be a lot of competitors out there trying to get that same job. And the only thing that will make you different from every other person is that extra thing that you bring to the table. So your hard work, your certifications, those courses that you are doing, those extra things that you are putting in is not a waste, because when opportunity comes later in the future, all those things will come in handy. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nurse Tolu. Thank you, everyone. So if you love this content, do well to like, share, subscribe, and share to your network as well. And if you, like I said before, you want to reach out to Nurse Tolu, all the details will be on the YouTube description below. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nurse.